Golden State Warriors are playing some of their best basketball right now, and I think a lot of that is credit to Jonathan Kuminga. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about here on Warriors Today by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Allie Barefoot, and Jonathan Kuminga is available for a contract extension in the offseason this summer. But will the Warriors actually pay up this time? They have numerous other contracts they do need to at least consider, like a Klay Thompson, Kevon Looney, Gary Payton. But I truly think Jonathan Kuminga deserves to be paid, and I'm going to explain why towards the end of this video. But first and foremost, all I want you guys to do for me is go ahead and hit that sub button, because Jonathan Kuminga can be extended at any point, and I do not want you guys to miss out on anything, Dub Nation. So all you guys have to do is grow the 61,623 faithful who do trust Warriors Today by Chat Sports and hit that sub button for me. Jonathan Kuminga, of course, he was drafted in 2021. He's been riding his 4-year rookie contract, and as you can see, he's getting paid more and more each year, but this is not enough for me to be paying Jonathan Kuminga, who I think could possibly be the next face of the franchise in the Bay Area. And I'm talking about long after Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. Nobody's stepping on Steph Curry's toes here. However, only paying $6 million for Jonathan Kuminga, the third scorer, and potentially Steph Curry's next right-hand man, is not enough. Plus, Golden State already saw this coming with Jonathan Kuminga. Before the season started, they did pick up the team option for Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga through the year 2025. As you guys know, Steve Kerr and Steph Curry both have a contract through the season of 2026. So obviously they plan on keeping Jonathan Kuminga for quite some time. But I do think they're going to have to start paying him, or maybe Jonathan Kuminga isn't going to want to stay in Golden State. So overall, I do think being 21 years old and talking about getting a major contract in the offseason speaks highly of Jonathan Kuminga. I personally believe he is one of the best third years in the NBA right now, only at 21 years old. Of course, he does have Moses Moody, Brandon Pajemski, who are also stepping up. They're younger guys as well, but they're going to have to pay big money if they want to keep seeing results from the 21-year-old, because it's crazy how much a difference can make in 1 year. When you look at the role Kuminga had last year, it's kind of crazy to think he was only averaging about 20 minutes per game, which is not bad for a 20-year-old in the NBA. However, what he's done since 2022-23 is insane. He's played about 9 games less so far since last year. He's averaging 16 points per game, which is third in the team for the Warriors. His rebounds are up. His assists are up. His field goal is pretty much the same there. We're not going to talk about a three-point shot. That's never really been JK's MO. But the fact that he's getting better in almost every single category, including blocks and steals as well, shows that he has not even touched his ceiling yet, which is why the money needs to be offered right now before it's going to be too late. Because when you look at what JK's role was last year, and obviously Steve Kerr wasn't even remotely thinking about playing a 20-year-old, nonetheless starting a 20-year-old over any of the older guys in the Golden State Warriors. He only started 16 games last year. Now he started 32 so far this season, and he has become a dominant player for the Golden State Warriors. Not a role player anymore, but to the point where if he's not in the starting 5, I get a little bit weary about how the Warriors are going to play that day without having the athleticism on both sides of the ball like Jonathan Kuminga has given the Warriors. So I think I know the answer to a lot of this question is that going ahead and type 00 down in the comments if you do want the Warriors to extend Jonathan Kuminga in the offseason. I'm going to be typing 00. I think they would be stupid not to offer this guy the money that he deserves right now, because Jonathan Kuminga doesn't seem like a very dramatic player, in my opinion, to a point where he's going to hold out if he doesn't get his money. I know he had that conversation with Steve Kerr earlier, but I think just to be on the safe side, give him his money. Go ahead and type a 00 down below, and while you guys are at it, just go on ahead and go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use promo code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100, because this is the #1 daily fantasy sports app right now, and I want you guys to be a part of it. It's super easy to play, and it's super exciting. All you have to do is pick between 2 to 6 players and just pick more or less on a player's projected stats, and you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. Not to mention they have tons of promotions going on. They have Taco Tuesday, they have Flex Friday, which is you can go up to $20. If you don't win, you can get your money back, and they have numerous other celebrities playing like Meek Mill, Sugar Sean O'Malley, and of course, Allie Barefoot. So all you guys have to do is go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use promo code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100 and watch yourself win some real money in real time. The trade deadline came and it passed, but Mike Dunleavy was adamant about not giving away Jonathan Kuminga. They could have had somebody like an Alex Caruso. They could have had numerous options, but everybody wanted to trade for Jonathan Kuminga. Dunleavy was smart here by saying, look, we see the value that he has. Maybe it wasn't even the same value that he had before the season started, but now he has formed himself into a big name in the Bay Area, and Dunleavy was not going to talk at all about trading Jonathan Kuminga. Because when you think about what was going on for the Warriors at the start of the season, they won 6 straight, and then, of course, they went on a losing streak. Draymond got suspended. Klay Thompson had injuries, yada, yada, yada. But Jonathan Kuminga wasn't really the force that he has become throughout the year. He was only averaging about 20 minutes per game or less back in October, back in November, and now he's upwards of 32 minutes a game for Golden State, proving he has become a huge asset to the Warriors' offense and defense. This is not just me saying this. I watch the games. Obviously, I see there's a lot of players who are stepping up, but I want to talk about what Jonathan Kuminga has done for the Golden State Warriors, because Chris Paul is talking about how much he's just developed as a player. He said early in the season, I bet JK probably hated us because we were on him all the time. But we see so much in him. The energy he brings with our team, and he's gelling with us. We play a cerebral game, so it's a brand of basketball that Jonathan Kuminga does bring to the guys who are a little bit more intelligent when they play ball games. Not saying Jonathan Kuminga isn't, but when you see a Chris Paul, you see his court vision, you see the basketball IQ has always been on a different level. That's what's made somebody like Chris Paul so great. But when you have Jonathan Kuminga, who just kind of plays with athleticism, I've always loved the kind of guys where you just think it feels so natural when you watch him play. Over the last 22 games, Jonathan Kuminga has scored over 20-plus points in 13 of those games. And it's become a point where, yes, Steph Curry is going to be Steph Curry. He probably is going to put up about 30 points per game, and he's going to hit a dagger from half court. But the way that Jonathan Kuminga plays, the way that he drives and he creates shots down low is a type of ball that I'm really looking forward to watching for the next couple of years for the Golden State Warriors. They've had the 3-ball down and locked for the last decade. Now, Jonathan Kuminga scoring down low has been a game changer for the Dubs. And plus, I think he could be a future All-Star. It's not easy to crack Steve Kerr's ongoing veteran rotation. He told the rookies early when they came to the Warriors, look, you got to pay your dues. I'm playing my veterans. I know what they can do for me. Now look at the starting lineup. You've got a 20-year-old Brandon Pajemski, 21-year-old Jonathan Kuminga, and 21-year-old Moses Moody in the starting lineup while Wiggins is gone. Jonathan Kuminga spoke his mind earlier this season to Steve Kerr saying, I'm not happy here. You're wasting my talent here. When am I going to play? And that could have gone a lot of different ways for a player like Jonathan Kuminga, but ultimately it opened more doors for the 21-year-old to be able to flourish. And Steve Kerr finally stopped being stubborn and only played the veterans and played who was winning. So there's only one question left. How much is Jonathan Kuminga worth? You've got a $55 million player in Steph Curry. You possibly have to think about adding on Klay Thompson again in the offseason, player options as well. Can the Warriors extend Jonathan Kuminga for upwards of a lot of money in the offseason? Because if we look ahead to a year, like I said, Steph Curry, $55 million. Andrew Wiggins, who is currently on a hiatus for personal reasons, will cost $26 million next year. Draymond Green, who is in the first year of his 4 years, same thing as Andrew Wiggins. Chris Paul has a non-guaranteed $30 million contract next year. Gary Payton II has a $9.1 million player option that he could take in the offseason. So ESPN's Bobby Marks actually did say what Jonathan Kuminga could be worth. He said probably what you're looking at in Jonathan Kuminga is similar to what Minnesota has with Jaden McDaniels. He got 5 years for $131 million. And you're probably looking at $30 million a year for Jonathan Kuminga. Talk about a freaking raise. Making $6 million this year, upwards of $7 million next year. And now Bobby Marks, ESPN Insider, is saying that, look, if you really want to give Jonathan Kuminga a contract he possibly deserves this season, it could be $30 million to to add on Jonathan Kuminga. Maybe less if they do 4 years, even more money off. They do 3 years. But overall, I think Jonathan Kuminga is worth at least $30 million a year, which could be insane to say about a 21-year-old. I hear myself. I understand what's going on. But that's just my opinion. That's why we have Warriors today, is because I give you my opinion, I show you the stats, and then you guys respond. So all you guys have to do in the comments is ask. I have one question for you. How much should Jonathan Kuminga's extension be worth? Drop a number down below. What do you think Jonathan Kuminga should be paid moving forward to stay in the Bay Area? Like I said, Golden State has numerous contracts they have to discuss in the offseason. Whether or not to re-sign Klay Thompson, Chris Paul's non-guaranteed $30 million. Kevon Looney and Gary Payton both have a player option. There's a lot of question marks surrounding Golden State's future, but I think Jonathan Kuminga is the period for that future. He's going to become the face of the franchise. And if you ever get rid of him, or if he walks away, that will be a huge loss to the Golden State Warriors franchise. So I would pick him up ASAP. I would pay him the big bucks, and I would never look back. And if you guys agree, all you guys have to do is go ahead and hit that sub button for me, because the minute Jonathan Kuminga does get an extension, or I should say if he gets an extension, we're going to report about it right here on Warriors Today by Chat Sports. So if you guys want to be in the know, we'll do all the work. All you guys have to do is hit that sub button for me.